Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now markets are currently experiencing a short-term pullback after that rally that we've seen for the last 2 days. And so in just a moment, I'll be talking about whether or not that short-term relief is now over, or if this pullback is only a minor pullback within potentially an uptrend that's forming right now. All of that and more later in the video, so definitely stick around. First of all, just giving you a quick update on the US stock market. This right here is the Nasdaq 100 index on the daily time frame, and so far today, we've obviously seen the US stock market pull back down after that short-term relief rally that we've seen over the last 2 days. And obviously, if you watched my last video that I posted yesterday on the channel, this short-term pullback in the stock market is not really surprising, because what I mentioned yesterday was the fact that the price action in the stock market actually gapped to the upside. We had a gap in the price action, and when you're talking about the stock market, more often than not, these gaps in the price action tends to get filled. And so due to that, what I actually said in my last video was that this could actually result in the price action coming back down in the short term to fill the gap to the downside. And obviously, based on the price action so far today in the US stock market, this is pretty much exactly what has happened, with the price action coming back down almost to this previous high, which is filling that price gap. But even though this daily candle in the US stock market is currently sitting in the red, if you're zooming out to the weekly time frame, this right here is actually the S&P 500 chart on the weekly time frame. We can clearly see that, at least as of right now, the weekly candle for the stock market is still in the green. And as I explained more in my last video, right now on the weekly time frame, both the Nasdaq 100 index and the S&P 500 index is forming a massive bullish divergence chart pattern. But like I said yesterday, technically speaking, this bullish divergence only actually confirms if we see this weekly candle close in the green. And so we still have a couple more days until we see the weekly candle close for the stock markets. And so really, we just need to wait for a couple more days to actually confirm this bullish divergence in the US stock market. But due to the fact that the US stock market is sitting in the red today on the daily time frame, and considering the fact that the US stock market and the crypto market are highly correlated, this also means that we're currently sitting in the red on the daily time frame for Bitcoin. But with that being said, even though we're currently seeing a red daily candle at the moment for the price of Bitcoin, if we're looking at the daily Bitcoin price oscillators, these are still showing bullish momentum at the moment. Because first of all, looking at the daily Bitcoin RSI, obviously, as we can see here, first of all, we had that bullish divergence, and after that, we're still forming higher lows and higher highs in the daily Bitcoin RSI. So because the daily Bitcoin RSI is trending to the upside, this is technically a sign of strength for the price of Bitcoin. And something similar can be said about the daily Bitcoin MACD, although even though we're seeing a bit of bullish momentum at the moment in this indicator, the bullish momentum isn't as strong if you're comparing it to, say, what we saw towards the beginning of July. And so once again, at the moment, the momentum indicators on the daily time frame are currently pointing towards a little bit more of a bullish relief, although as of right now, the bullish momentum back to the upside simply is not as strong as compared to back there. And now zooming all the way out to the 3-day Bitcoin charts, because right now the price of Bitcoin is still forming this massive falling wedge pattern at the same time as obviously the price action and the 3-day Bitcoin RSI diverging in a bullish divergence. And the last time that we saw these two patterns show up on the 3-day Bitcoin chart was during the middle of last year. But technically speaking, as of right now, on the larger time frames like this 3-day time frame, for example, the trend is still obviously bearish. We're forming lower highs and lower lows as of right now. And so I would only start to flip more bullish again on the larger time frames for the price of Bitcoin if we start to see a break above some of these key levels of resistance. And one of those first key levels that Bitcoin needs to break above in order to potentially flip more bullish would first of all be around $21,000 per Bitcoin, because that is where this descending line of support is coming into play. And then above 21,000, then I'll be looking towards this previous high, which is sitting closer towards 23,000. And the reason as to why that previous high is so important for the price of Bitcoin is obviously because if the price breaks above the previous high, that would mean we're forming a higher high, which is usually one of the first signals that we see for a possible trend reversal into more of a bullish trend. But I want to make it clear that obviously at the time of recording this video, we have not seen any of these breakouts above any of these key levels levels of resistance, at least not yet. And so as of right now, technically speaking, we cannot flip overly bullish on the larger timeframes, at least until we start to see more bullish confirmation signals. And if you want to know more information about this chart right here with a possible price target to the upside in that possible bullish scenario, then make sure to check out my last video, the video that I posted yesterday on this channel. But anyway, zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, like I said in the intro of this video, currently the price of Bitcoin is experiencing a shorter term pullback, but at the moment, technically speaking, the immediate short term trend is currently an uptrend, because obviously, as we can see here, the price action is forming higher highs and higher lows in the short term for Bitcoin. And now, once again, if you watched my last video on this channel, then this short term cool off wouldn't really be that surprising, because if you're looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI just yesterday, that briefly entered into overbought territories, telling us that we're due to see a bit of a short-term cool-off sometime soon, because this actually means that we're getting a little bit too overheated. And so right now, that's exactly what we're seeing. We're currently seeing a short-term cool-off, which is helping to reset the RSI on the 4-hour time frame back towards these neutral levels, which technically now gives us some more room back to the upside. And so simply based on the higher low, higher high price structure, and also based on this short-term cool-off playing out in the RSI without the trends exactly breaking at the moment, when you're talking about the immediate short term for the price of Bitcoin, technically speaking, we're looking slightly more bullish than bearish at the moment, despite the short-term cool-off that we're currently in that's within this bullish trend just in the short term. And as for support and resistance levels, first of all, we have some strong resistance at around 20.3k, which I talked about in my last video once again, and that's pretty much exactly where we saw a rejection. But if we end up seeing a confirmed break above 20.3k, then I'll be looking towards around 21,000 at this golden pocket level of resistance as the next strong point of resistance for the price of Bitcoin. And as for support in the short term, we do have a bit of support right here at this previous 38.2% Fibonacci level, which is sitting at around 19.7 to 19.8k. And then anything below that level, if we do actually see a little bit more of a short-term cool-off, then I'll be looking towards support at this level right here, which is sitting at around 19.1k approximately. And once again, like I said yesterday, if you want to know my short-term trading strategy, right now I still have my grid trading bot open at the moment. And so basically, for as long as the price of Bitcoin is chopping around within this sideways price range, that grid bot is making me profits. And as for potential long positions or short positions, I personally would only become more comfortable in a long position if we start to see a strong breakout above 21k due to this Fibonacci level, and also due to this massive descending line of resistance being broken if of course we break 21,000. And as for a short position, obviously I'd be comfortable shorting Bitcoin if we confirm a key level of support such as 18,000 for example. But because the price of Bitcoin is still chopping around within these important support and resistance levels, I'm still keeping my grid bot active at the moment, which is making profit once again for as long as the price of Bitcoin is simply chopping around like this. And in case you have no idea what a grid bot actually is, I do have a tutorial video linked down below in the description and in the pinned comment. Otherwise, stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this right here is the daily Ethereum to US dollar chart. And right now, the price of ETH hasn't really changed over the last few days. We're still, relatively speaking, in this shorter term relief within the bearish trend relative to the daily time frame. And if you're looking at the daily Ethereum price oscillators, as of right now, they're technically showing less bullish momentum compared to the daily Bitcoin price oscillators. And so even though we're technically within a shorter term relief for Ethereum within this bearish trend, we are simply lacking some of that bullish momentum that Bitcoin is currently showing on the daily time frame. But anyway, heading back to Ethereum and zooming straight into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Ethereum to US dollar chart. And right now we can clearly see that the trend, if anything, is extremely neutral. We're seeing a lot of horizontal highs and horizontal lows for the price of ETH in the short term. And so once again, the larger trend on the daily time frame is technically still a bearish trend, but the shorter term trend is technically more of a neutral trend. It's more of a choppy sideways price range at the moment. And so once again, I have an active grid bot trading this sideways price range, which is making profit for as long as the price is chopping around sideways like this. And as for support and resistance levels in the short term term for ETH, right now for support, I'll be looking towards around 1270 to 1280. And then anything below that level, if the price of ETH confirms a break below around 1270, then I'll be looking towards around the local low, which is sitting closer towards around 1220. And as for resistance, we've recently seen a little bit of short-term resistance right here, which is sitting closer towards around 1360 to 1370. But if you're talking about these Fibonacci levels of resistance, the next important Fibonacci level of resistance for the price of ETH to the upside is sitting closer towards around 1.4k. And then anything above that level, if we confirm a break above 1.4k, then I'll be looking towards the 50% retracement level, which is sitting at around 1470 to 1480. And then anything above that, then of course we have the golden pocket level of resistance, which is sitting at around 1550. But once again, in terms of the short-term trend at the moment for the price of ETH, we're not exactly looking bullish or bearish. We're looking extremely neutral at the moment in the short term. And if you want to know how to maximize your profits in crypto during a time like this, where we're seeing a lot of choppy sideways price action, then check out the video in the bottom left of your screen, because that shows you those grid bots that I was talking about earlier. And the video in the top left of your screen shows you how to make money in crypto if the price is trending up or down. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.